Well, Rangers Football Club are spineless, they're heartless, they are a complete fucking nuisance to my life. I suppose really what has happened is our last video, I was kind of doubting whether we were a bit, because we won the game, but we're still coming away from it, with a taste, a sourness, and a negativity. And I was wondering, are we just being too negative? But nah, they've really proved that once again we are right, and we will win nothing if we don't have performances on the park. We say all the time results are important, but
Aye.
ultimately there's only so long you can continue to get results
Continue
when
to
your
scrape by.
performances are utterly garbage, and that is exactly what we witnessed today. And quite honestly, few and far between have our performances been of a good standard this season. And really that sums Rangers up in every regard today.
I think this is a subject that we've been tiptoeing around because, using the excuse of time. But listen, there's so many results, including the day's results, and then, when you look at the day's result and look back at games previously, you've got to allow it then to fall into the manager. And I think that looking at the reaction after the game, I think a lot of fans who were allowing a bit of time for Clermont have started to, lose a bit of patience, because the biggest problem is, at the start of the season, Clermont come out and says to us, we're not going to see the best of our squad until October.
Aye.
And a lot of us were rightfully annoyed at that. Like, we've not got to October. We need to push. You need to be pushing in a title race for the get-go. So we're already pissed off about that. But now we're in October. We're arguably worse in terms of performance. Not only do I believe that we've not seen any development with any specific player. I couldn't name a single player that's got better under Clermont. We've not seen any development in terms of, tactically, in terms of game plan. We still don't really know what the game plan is. We're playing like hoofball a lot of the time. And at the end of the day, like, as we've said for ages, like, if you're putting in those kind of performances, you can maybe scrape by in the Scottish League, but there comes a time where any sort of quality for any team, doesn't matter if it's Celtic, Aberdeen, any team like that, could pick us apart. And listen, Kilmarnock got that clear-cut chance in goal and, managed to put us away with it. And at the end of the day, I've seen a lot of folk, and we come on here every day and almost, use Dessers as a scapegoat, rightfully so. But at the end of the day, like, replacing Dessers would address some of the big issues that are in that squad just now, because finishing is a big issue. But at the end of the day, there's a much larger issue under the surface, and that, again, that comes for the manager, that comes for the mentality of the players run about him. I honestly think you could put Haaland in that team and would still be...
Well, see, the thing is,
similar problems.
Dessers rightly has received criticism and will receive criticism, but how much service is Dessers really getting as well? Do you know what I mean? Because the rest of the team are useless also. And, I didn't think it would be this bad this early in the season, but we talk about giving managers time, right? Which obviously they're entitled to some length of time, but Clermont's been in the door for a year now. Okay, nothing has got better. We are not better. We've not moved forward. We have barely looked like we've been moving forward, and the excuse of time buys you. It buys you time to make incremental movements forward, at least, a small step in the right direction. We've not seen that. And also, what about Aberdeen? They just appointed a new manager in the summer.
Hit the ground running.
Did he
straight
need
away.
time? They've no lost a game. I watched them yesterday playing, and they had a clear style. They had a clear game plan. They honestly moved the ball 100 times better than what we do. They looked like they had more fight than we do, week in, week out. You know, and it's the manager, it's the captain. We've criticised James Tavernier, but I might be wrong, but I don't remember me personally ever calling for him to be. I've maybe said his time's up in that, but I've kind of done it gently, unlike some of your fan base, which I don't blame whatsoever. But for me now, if we can't get rid of the manager, we're not playing Tavernier in right wing. That's no the answer, mate. The answer is to drop him. I'd drop them all if we could, but unfortunately, look, he's the captain. He's leading this team to failure. He's leading this team into the ground. So he needs dropped at least for a couple of weeks, at least to make a statement to say, look, this is no good enough. If I could drop every one of these, I would. But look, you are the captain. You need to bear most of the responsibility. Unfortunately, that's how the fans see it.
My concern as well with that kind of stuff is what is playing good under Clement, because we don't know necessarily, like, is playing good.
I know, I get what you mean.
Is playing good, I'm putting forward more accurate long balls, you know what I mean? Is playing good, no really letting your arse collapse, doing nothing different, but as long as our arse doesn't collapse, we're alright. Like, that's why it's hard to tell.
I know what you're saying, because the team is, you just watch them week in, week out, mate. We're only in October, man, and every performance you watch is just gutless and soulless, with no direction.
Slow, predictable.
And it's predictable in the worst possible sense, because it's alright to be predictable if you're doing things right and they're working, but we're just predictably fucking awful week in, week out. And even if you have bad performances, you expect, you know, I don't know, even something for somebody, one player to do something that sort of goes, oh, these people are interested in winning a game. These people are interested in, you know, not just being, you know, wage takers at this club, but not one of them, not one of the subs, not the manager, not the guys sitting behind the manager on the bench. Do you know what I mean? They're bringing on. I had a wee chuckle to myself. I don't know if we were 1-0 down at the time. It was maybe nothing each, maybe 10 minutes to go or something like that. And he's bringing on. I think the subs he made were, I think Dowell and Casemiro come on at the same time, right? And you see one of the coaches behind, and he comes up with a wee the notebook that he's got with all the, I don't know what it is, to be honest, it's set pieces or it's this, you do that, and I'm like, mate, we don't even need that, man. Just put them on the park and tell them to put in a fucking shift. Go back to the basics.
I know.
Do you know what I mean? Don't show them 4 pieces of paper with this and that on it, man.
I'd just love to
They're
know
not doing it anyway.
What's on that bit of paper? Like,
no idea, but I tell you what, I'd just replace it all with just 5 pages that just massive bold writing, just say, don't be shite. Because that's the message, that these, don't be weak, don't be shite, because that's exactly what this team is.
I think a big thing that we can't seem to shake, especially under Clement, seems to be the decision making, like, especially in an attacking sense, because I kind of feel like when we attack, it's almost a bit like panic stations at times. And I don't know if you've seen it. I don't know if you've seen that specific bit with Dessers through ball Bajrami, when Bajrami could go through one-on-one.
Obviously I missed the first half of the game,
honest to God,
I meant to check that because you were telling me about it, but was it bad?
Obviously we were on the break, right, and I think we had 2, maybe 3 on 1, and Dessers had the ball out in the left of the park, and basically what happened was the 2 defenders that were behind Dessers caught up slightly, so Dessers had a decision to make. Right, do I keep sprinting or do I release Bajrami, who's onside but at least 10 yards in front of him? He decides to try and pass the ball like out to Czerny, who's, by the way, level with him and how far up the park
Right.
he is. So if he made that pass to Tierney, he'd have to pass through one of the defenders that were catching up to him, and that's what he decided to do. Barzami's standing right in front of him with a potential to a one-on-one with a defender who you would fancy all day to take
So
him
it's
on.
just clear bad decision making.
Probably one of the worst decisions I've seen in a football park. It was honestly, I was baffled, totally baffled.
I don't get it, and I'm trying to, wrap around my head what these players are actually, because I've never, I mean, it's possible that you see maybe, let's say 8 players, even 9 players, like having a bad game, but sometimes the subs come on and they put the work in or do something different, add a bit of a spark. But no, it's everybody involved at Rangers now. Every single player is just low, lethargic, just not very good, to be quite honest.
It's almost like, even if you look over previous years, like through Beale and that, it seems that every new player that comes in to this team, they come in and they develop, they almost absorb the mentality that's already there with the squad. Many players come in that started off looking really promising and regressed over the course of the time they've been here.
I know.
And honestly, see with the hype that's run about Barzami, I was watching Barzami the day and I was thinking to myself, but everybody that spoke to us for previous clubs, who the Albanian accounts as well, who have said I've got an absolute player. I'm thinking to myself, I can't see anywhere close to that full potential yet. And not because I don't think he's not given his full potential, it's that I don't believe that the system, the way the squad's playing, the ideas are set up in a way that's going to get the best out of the players and bring the club success. That's my belief. There's only so many times players can come into this club and get dragged down to the same average level as every other player in that squad before you need to go, right, that something's going to have to dramatically change. We're going to have to basically wipe the floor with the full set up. We're going to have to regroup. We're going to have to get Fitba brains in the door to develop an identity.
Many times we've been told that's exactly what we're doing. The rebuild.
It's a lot of shite.
The next thing.
It's a load of shite.
That's what, where do you even go for here? What do you even do, man? I mean, it's...
You can't sack Clement. We can't really afford to, because we gave him a contract extension. We could have maybe sacked him if we never gave him that extension. Another completely baffling.
That's what I mean. You're really in a hopeless predicament because you're in October. You're in October, man. Do you know what I mean? The season's only a couple of months underway. And what do? We sack our manager. What is it going to make a difference? It's such a big risk. It's such a big risk to keep him as well, though. And the opportunity for bringing in players is gone. The opportunity for even changing players, seems non-existent to me. And I'm talking about dropping players and bringing players in, because who you got to turn to? Nico Raskin, Kieran Dibble.
Not been kicking a ball since they joined, to be honest. All these players, that's what I'm saying.
Casemiro. Maybe bring him, but I would bring him in and just drop Tavernier, if for nothing else, to really place a message in the rest of this team. But do you know what? I don't even think it would, because the players on the park are looking over their shoulder at the people on the bench and saying,
I'm guaranteed here.
Am I really? Are these guys
if you
really
look at the squad,
me?
Shooter has probably been the only player this season you thought he's kind of kicked on a wee bit, looks a bit more solid.
And then he goes with a horrendous piece of defending to cost us a goal there.
Proper.
Gets nudged off the ball.
Still not convinced. Obviously, Hefty,
Hefty, I thought looks decent. Still a bit raw, I would say, and his decision making again is no...
But he drives at players. He looks kind of sharp. He's got an engine on him. Tav, we don't all know what Tav's like. Diamande, I don't think's kicked the ball for longer than I would like for us, to be honest. And he looked like one of the players where you think, right, he's a proper intelligent player.
I'll tell you about Diamande, right? Diamande is a player who will flourish in a team that's dominant. And a dominant team, and a team that's really aggressive and really wants to dominate the ball and play football, Diamande will flourish. But see this being in the trenches week in, week out, it doesn't suit Diamande.
No.
Doesn't suit him. He's too lightweight for it. He's no really... he's no that kind of player. Do you know what I mean? He's no a physical midfielder that wants to get stuck in about it.
Yeah,
it doesn't suit him. He's not a John Lundstrom, basically. Do you know what I mean? Somebody that's quite happy to get involved in scraps and big tackles.
I'll put it this way: if we're 1-0 up on like 80 minutes, you're not going to bring Diamande on, are you?
No.
Like, you would have brought that John Lundstrom kind of player on. But even at that, like, I mean, Barron's get pass marks as well for this season. I think he's been really good. But then up top, Cherny, hot and cold. I've not been impressed with him. Dessers, I'm not even going to get into Dessers. Well, now again we've got McCausland's carrying an injury as well. We've got Matondo as well, and Bajrami. I'm
but
worried.
These are players. I don't want them to be injured, but honestly, doesn't make a difference. Sorry, it just doesn't make a difference, and this is the worrying thing for me. We're just so weak, and I suppose the most frustrating thing about it, and the absolutely most the Rangers thing about all of this, is the fact that the two top teams now drew each other yesterday and left us a wee opening there to go and claw back some points, and Rangers do as Rangers do and absolutely fucking fumble the ball when the opportunity arises.
Not only did we fumble it, we widened the gap.
I know.
Widened it. Like, both clubs are on a point away from us. Like,
that tells me all I need to know about the mentality of the players.
We could
and it's broad. You can't just blame Tavernier. You can't just blame Dessers. This is systemic in the the club, but it's systemic through the starting 11. They just don't look. They didn't look the day like a team that wanted to capitalise, that smelt blood, for Celtic and Aberdeen, the two teams above them in the league. A chance to claw back some points. It's no major, but it's a chance to, make a mark. To say here, by the way, if you slip up at all, we're hot on your tails.
Aye. We may be down, but we're not out kind of mentality. But
made a complete arse of it. Fell away so severely. And see, the thing is as well, Kilmarnock are a good team, and to go there on the artificial surface has been problematic for many teams throughout the seasons. But that wasn't the toughest game we've ever had against Kilmarnock.
See if we can go away to Malmo in Europe and get a result. There's no excuse for.
Oh, there is no excuse. There's no excuse for the surface. There's no excuse for Kilmarnock being a good team either, because if we want to challenge for league titles, have to be comfortable going anywhere.
At the same
winning.
time, I'm pretty sure this is Kilmarnock's first clean sheet of the season.
Well, I was looking at the results and they are conceding left, right and centre. I don't know if they've conceded every game. Wouldn't surprise me. But also another severely criminal statistic is that Rangers have scored how many goals away from home this season? Do you know?
I couldn't even guess.
Take a guess. How many games have we had? Is this how many games?
And then we scored
13 games or something like that, maybe?
It's under 5.
Yes.
3.
1 goal.
1. Jesus Christ, man.
1 goal away from home. We are joint bottom of the away goals with Ross County with 1 goal. I mean, you ever heard the likes of it?
It's got to be good for Patodge, ain't it? They will tear us a new arsehole, by the way, I think, Aberdeen.
Well, the first time in a lot... No, normally when you go to Aberdeen or Aberdeen come to us, you're expecting a tough game. Do you know what I mean?
Game.
Especially against Aberdeen. But this, having watched Aberdeen yesterday and having watched the Rangers today, I think I can comfortably say that I expect that Aberdeen will be favourites. Now, they probably won't be bookies' favourites, but anybody who has any
set of
sense of
eyeballs.
realism still left in their body will say that Aberdeen are absolutely favourites against this Rangers team.
100%.
I don't know, man. It's grim. I didn't expect to, be this hopeless this early on in the season. But the problem is you've got there's no hope because I just can't see what Clement can do.
No.
He's had a year, let me say, but he's not making improvements. So what does he do? Does he change personnel? Probably won't make a difference. So what's he going to just completely change his tactics, completely change formation, or do you know?
It's bizarre. Like,
your hands are tied.
A question to kind of end this, wrap it up, is Clement in or out?
I mean, I don't think he deserves the job based on accomplishment, based on performance. He doesn't deserve the job. But then another question is, can you afford to sack him?
We can't.
Who knows? It's complicated, but he doesn't deserve to be there, to be honest.
No, I'm out as well, based on the fact... And I can't
bear watching his football for another fucking rest of this season.
Based on the fact that regardless of the results, the Fitba's honking, and the fact that I've not seen a single player develop under him. I've not seen any sort of system develop under him, or I don't see any sort of leadership in the squad, and I can't see any difference between this Rangers team and Beale's Rangers team last season.
And also, he comes out, I watched his interview after the game, and obviously he was saying it was a bit more of a balanced first half, but we were and then a more dominant second half. And I'm like, you actually using the word dominant to describe that second half tells me all I need to know about you. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. People have been saying it. He's a bit of a bullshit artist. He's Beale in disguise and all that. And I was like, maybe no. I think these are just a bit scarred for, what Beale done to the club and how things have been for the club. But I don't know, man. I'm really starting to doubt this guy does have the credentials and, deserves trust for the fans. Because after a game like that, you need to come out and be realistic with your fans. I know they're always trying to soften the blow in these interviews and they've got their PR teams and this and that. Just come out, man, and absolutely fucking slate the players. It's simply no good enough. He comes out, he mentions
slate yourself, slate everything. You can say, listen, players played shite today, but
and do you know who he
actually
stuck it? Do you know who he sticks in the interview slightly? Because that's Butland, what they do. They manoeuvre themselves, saying he says Jack Butland's in no man's land, which I suppose he is.
But that's not the problem.
But also,
it's not the problem.
There's a ball hit over the back of your defence, right? And it's fumbled by one centre half, another centre half. And Butland's just probably thinking, right, I'm going to need to come and get this because these people in front of me are absolutely fucking clueless. What are they doing? I'm going to try and come and get the ball. But to sort of throw him under the bus and single him out specifically, I'm like, it doesn't appear to be playing his cards right. No. Because he could have done that to many other folk. He could have done it to the whole group. He could have done it to other individuals previously who have, been much more at fault and much worse than Jack Butland's been. But he's decided to single out Butland in a sense,
bizarre.
Which
really
doesn't make
bizarre.
sense to me. And then this whole fucking putting, I know it's a complete tangent for what I was just talking about, but does he think he's some sort of tactical genius by, moving Tav forward into right wing? He's actually embarrassing himself and the club.
I know.
I'm thinking Tav's been here all these years, and he probably could have been one of the best right wingers we've ever had if we'd done it, 3 years ago. But now to put him into right wing, as if that's going to solve the problems, or as if that's what the team needs or what we want, is nothing short of embarrassing, honestly. See, when I see
100%.
Tav
Well,
going to right wing now, I think, oh my fucking days,
only a
man,
couple
what
of
a bad
games ago,
situation we're in.
I can't mind who it was against, but we ended up with like Sterling and Tav as our
Sterling
two
left
wingers,
wing, Tav in the right
two
wing.
fullbacks as wingers. It was
Shambolic, man.
a crazy situation to be in. But what we want you to do anyway is we want you to jump into the comments and let us know what you thought about the game. Are you come on in? Are you come on out? What you thought about our opinions as well. Remember, all our socials are in the description down below. If you want to go over there and give us a follow, that would be great. Remember to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.